I recently bought this house from the 70s and we spent $200,000 on the renovation. I'm going to walk you through this entire remodel and show you what we did, and towards the end I'll share the numbers and also some tips on how to keep your renovation budget low and get the most out of it. We were so lucky that we didn't have to do a lot of work on the front yard. Just put in some newer, smaller plants and also rocks, and we removed some bushes towards the house, but the rest of the yard was already pretty good. So we saved a lot on the landscaping budget. On the building structure though, we replaced the old shutters with trim, because sometimes the shutters can make the house look so dated. And then we replaced this front door that was totally solid with this new door with a lot of lights. So that gives it a modern touch. The biggest change was probably the exterior paint. We changed the peach and maroon color combo to this black and white color combo and instantly brightened up this whole exterior. Welcome inside. In this entryway, there was a hodgepodge of flooring coverings. There was tiles and laminate floors and then some carpet going upstairs. And we changed that by using consistent engineered hardwood floors throughout, and it looks a lot more welcoming. And at this stairway, we put in new railings to make it look really modern. And then we go into the living room where we didn't have to do a lot of changes. We just added recessed lights, put in new flooring, and repainted the interior, but it looks a lot more bright. This room was a very long and narrow room before. It was so weird. And we utilized the end part of it for the new kitchen, which I'm going to show you right after, but it made the layout make a lot more sense. The original kitchen was in this small pocket. It was enclosed and it was so small. We took out this wall but had no way to expand this kitchen for this over 2,000 square foot house. So we decided to relocate it to over here where we have a ton of space and also much better sightline to the living room. In terms of the kitchen design, you guys probably have noticed that in previous videos, I'm really loving these white oak slim shaker cabinets. And in this kitchen, instead of a darker lower cabinets, I use white upper cabinets that still create this two-tone look, but it looks very clean. And I really like this little detail where we put in insert that's also shelvings that ties into the lower cabinets. It gives it quite a designer touch. And these pendant lights are teardrop shaped and they really look very pretty. And then in terms of the appliances, we didn't use high-end appliances on this flip because of the price point of this home, but instead we chose mid-range appliances that save some budget. And for this hood, I've mentioned a couple times before, if you use a stainless steel hood, then it costs a few $1,000s. But if you frame it up and use an insert, it can be done very cost effectively and it looks very modern. And then for the backsplash, instead of going all the way up to the ceiling, we actually just ended it where the upper cabinets are. And then we save a lot of money, but it still looks really good. The old kitchen became the new dining room, and this chandelier really makes a statement. And then we get into the family room where it used to be kind of dark. We put in a lot of new recessed lights and also made this fireplace way more modern. It was bricks before, and we added this electric insert and it instantly updated the whole space. And then on the flooring, it was old carpet before, and we put in consistent hardwood floors, and it looks so much better. There was the sketchiest track light that was plugged into the wall. We had to resolve that safety hazard and get rid of it. Right next to the family room, we had a hallway going to the garage and laundry room on one side that we ended up relocating the laundry into the garage. And on the other side, there was a super old school half bath full of wallpaper that we expanded into a full bathroom with very simple and light tiles and also a statement chandelier. Interestingly enough, Originally, we wanted to keep the old layout with the half bath, but the house wouldn't sell. And then because a lot of buyers were complaining that there was no full bathroom to go with this only bedroom on the lower level. So they couldn't fully use this as a bedroom. So we decided to convert the half bath into a full bathroom, and that really helped the sale of the home, and we were able to get it sold so quickly. So in this lower bedroom, we removed the wall-to-wall wood paneling with sheetrock and also added a ceiling light and replaced the flooring, and now it's a very serene bedroom. Going upstairs, there are 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, and in this area we replaced the weird ceiling fan with new recessed lights. And then in these 2 similar bedrooms, we put in new ceiling light, repainted the interior, put in new closet door, and replaced the carpet with new flooring. This guest bathroom is where we saved a lot of money because it was already recently updated. So we just had to paint the cabinets and replace the hardware and also the lights and the mirror to give it a fresh look. And then we didn't really do much in the shower at all, just replacing the shower head and also the hardware on the glass door. And now it looks very new without us breaking the bank. This room is not the primary bedroom yet, but it's very spacious and very nice. But there was another room that's attached to it, which was kind of weird, and it was enclosed, but you had to walk through another bedroom to get to it. So we decided to put in this new French door that makes this room feel so much nicer, and it can be an office or a nursery now. In the Bay Area, you rarely get a primary bedroom this big. I really love the vaulted ceilings and the natural light we get. We repainted the baby blue color with this very neutral and light cream color, and it made a big difference. And going into this attached ensuite, there was a lot of space for this vanity, but there was only 1 sink, which is crazy. We made it a double vanity, so it adds a lot of functionality. And in terms of the style, we put in this black countertops to go with the oak cabinets, which makes a very pretty combo and it looks very different. I also like these teardrop pendant lights to highlight the mirror and give it a very elegant look. And then in the water closet, there was a small shower only. On that side, there was a closet because there's the HVAC cold air return on the other side. So we decided to make a little bench on the bottom so that we could enlarge the shower. And I think it really gave you a lot more space and gave it more of a spa-like feel. The backyard is similar to the front yard where we didn't have to do much work. We just power washed these pergolas and took good care of the lawn and added some smaller plants. So it really helped us save the budget. Let's get into the 3 ways how you can get more renovation out of your budget, like how I do it on my flips. First of all, you want to find the right contractor. A lot of times, homeowners work with contractors that are used to working with homeowners. Those contractors tend to charge a premium and they use more expensive materials because they know that homeowners are more picky about the jobs and they want the better finishes. But investors typically work with contractors who specialize in working with investors. So these are usually the contractors that are mom and pop contractors. They set up a company, but it's just one general contractor and they do all the jobs on their own, versus the big general contracting companies that have a lot of general contractors under them and many crews that can work on projects for a lot of people at the same time. So you want to try to find the contractors that just have a small business so that they don't have any overhead and they are not charging a premium to cover their own profits. The second one is the materials. For my flips, I make sure that I choose the materials that are inexpensive, but they don't look cheap. So a lot of times I use prefabricated like cabinets, countertops that are 1/3 the cost of custom cabinets or countertop slabs. When you save on the cost of the materials, especially materials in the kitchen and the bathroom, you can really save a lot of money. And also you can buy a lot of the stuff that I use on my flips from Amazon. A lot of the light fixtures, a lot of mirrors. Sometimes there are knockoffs of the expensive light fixtures. They are about 1/4 of the cost of those high-end light fixtures, like the pendant lights and chandeliers I use on my flips. And also you can ask ChatGPT if there are cheaper alternatives of the high-end look that you're going for. If you want to see the exact fixtures I use on my flips, make sure you check out my Amazon storefront that's linked in the description. Number 3 is knowledge. That requires you to do some research. Before you do any renovations, you want to look up the average cost of home renovations in your area. Especially if you check out my YouTube videos, I have a few YouTube videos about the renovation cost on kitchen, bathroom, and the entire home renovation. So you can refer to those costs when you get contractor bids. You can compare the bids with the costs that I share or other resources that you find online so that you know if you're paying the right range or if the contractor's charging too much. And if that's the case, you probably should get more contractor bids. Now let's get to the numbers. I purchased this house for 1.9 million and we put 200,000 into the renovation and we ended up selling the house for 2.5 million. So that's a 200,000 profit. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.